Ha! You thought this was a video about farming frames, well guess what? It's also a video about farming weapons, sentinels, and other things too. Late April Fools! Hey everyone, Star here, and welcome to my guide on farming levels quickly on Warframe. Farming levels has to be the most dreaded thing. It takes a while and all you want to do is play with your new item. This guide won't have any boring stats or numbers or anything like that, so let's just get into it. Okay. So to farm Warframes, you need Affinity. That is gained by killing enemies, using abilities, or being around other Warframes that do those two things. So you have two options for missions. You have Aked on Eris, an infested dark sector mission that gives you extra affinity and stuff, or Hydron on Sedna, a regular mission but played way more. I recommend Hydron because it's a tight space. You blasted! And you get levels pretty fast here. Aked always has some infested getting stuck and it kinda gets annoying, but you can try out both of course. So let's get into strategy. Believe it or not, there's a fair amount of strategy here. First is a shared affinity link. You probably have seen this symbol by your name and wondered what it is. It shares affinity gained from one Warframe to the next, and you need to be near the person to gain that affinity. It also splits the affinity with other people, so if one person gets a kill, it will split off to other people and give less affinity to those people than the person who killed the enemy. Kinda confusing, I know, but it makes more sense with this next part. So this also happens with weapons in your arsenal and any companions you have. So you have 100% affinity. Whoa. Hold on here. You're about to talk about numbers and some mathematical Roman numeral junk, and that's no good. What about the promise you made? I lied. You'll have 100% affinity if you run in with only a Warframe, but that is not possible in the game. And that affinity will split between weapons and abilities used in the mission. So if you bring one weapon, it's a 50-50 split. If you bring two, it's 50 for the Warframe and 25 for both weapons. And if you bring the whole loadout, it's 25 split between the Warframes and weapons. And if you bring your Sentinel or Companion that kills something or uses an ability, the affinity goes to them too, and you might lose affinity. So that all just depends on what you're trying to level up. If you're trying to level up a melee weapon, then you use the melee weapon. If you're trying to level up any primary, secondary, use them more than you use your Warframe ability because your Warframe will be taking up all that affinity as well. And you'll also see that when you use abilities, you'll gain a number on the side of it. That's basically the affinity you gained from using that ability. So regular abilities only gain around 50 and your ultimate ability, your 4, will give you 100. And you'll see on mine with the affinity booster, it doubles. So regular abilities use 100 and the 4 uses 200. It gives me 200 affinity. So that's why I'm bringing a melee weapon and Sentinel for the missions, but my Helios doesn't have any attacking mods on him, as you can see here. So my recommendation is to kill as many enemies in the mission as you can while not fighting or getting mad over lost kills. I'm a 43-year-old man, mate! And only using one weapon that is efficient to kill the enemy. If you can't do that, stick with your team and hope that they have good enough items and abilities to help you. Also, this might be a little bit obvious, but try not to die and revive yourself or you'll lose affinity by doing that. But it doesn't matter as you can just keep rinse and repeating. So you can get a fair amount of affinity without a booster, like here, and a good amount of affinity with a booster here. And here's a side-by-side comparison for it. It took me 6 tries to get the Volt maxed out going onto wave 10 for each mission, and this also shortened because I got a booster at some point. So generally it will take around 6 to 7 times going through that mission to max out a Warframe if you're going up to wave 10. If you go up to wave 15, you might actually half that time. And for weapons, it usually takes 5 to 6 without a booster. But with Warframes with an affinity booster, it usually goes to 3 to 4 going to wave 10, granted that you use abilities and you play the game the whole time. And that leads me to my next point. You shouldn't use this as an AFK farm. None of this is AFK at all. You need to be playing the game 100% of the time in order for this to work. Because if you're not playing and you're not killing stuff or using abilities or anything, you're not gaining affinity besides the small amount of affinity you gain from other people. So you generally should be a team player here. So that's my guide on farming levels fast in Warframe. Keep in mind, again, this is not a AFK farm. Going onto the mission and being AFK will get you kicked, it won't give you any affinity, and make you lose the mission. So don't do that, because it doesn't work. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell, and comment any questions you have in the comments, and I'll get to you there. This has been Star, signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.